and welcome to her Hall of Mirrors. This is a channel where I provide soft-spoken and whispered film reviews. My goal is to help you discover different movies while helping you relax. I'm technologically impaired and creating these videos is very time consuming, so for now I'll just be showing half my face because I'll be reading from scripts that I've written, and as I get better with the editing process and it becomes easier, then I'll show my face. It just takes way longer doing these videos off the cuff, and unfortunately I don't have that much time right now, but I've been wanting to start this for quite some time, and if I don't start now, it's just gonna keep getting put off for another time. So today's movie is the 2022 psychological thriller Watcher. This is Chloe Okuno's feature film, directorial debut, and stars Maika Monroe and Carl Glusman. It's about an American girl, Julia, who moves to Romania with her husband, Francis. They've relocated because he's received a promotion, and he's set because he speaks Romanian, but she doesn't, unfortunately. On the first night at the new apartment, Julia notices a man watching her from a window directly across and one level above. She's visibly uncomfortable, but she doesn't let it get to her. Then it happens again and again. But this time, she's waiting for Francis to arrive home from work. She's in the dark, looking at the man, and just when she notices him, Francis arrives and asks why she's in the dark, but she just says that she's people watching. She doesn't make a big deal out of it. I just have to say that their apartment was absolutely gorgeous. I was so jealous, but the windows were huge and they added to that sense of being watched. Francis and Julia should have gotten thicker curtains, but it's like they say, keep your friends close and your enemies closer, so I thought it was wise for her to keep an eye on this creep. Anyway, the language barrier makes it difficult for Julia to acclimate to the new environment. She spends most of her time alone while Francis works long hours. She tries to enjoy the city on her own, but you can sense this feeling of loneliness and disconnection within her. So, the following day after he walks in on her in the dark, she's watching TV, flipping through channels, and she tunes into the news. Francis translates for her because she can't understand and explains that a young girl has been killed. Eventually, Julia learns that a serial killer known as the Spider has been decapitating women. One day when she's on one of her solo walks through the city, she can't enjoy herself. She feels like someone's watching her, so she attempts to distract herself with a movie, but she still can't relax. She turns around to observe the people behind her and makes eye contact with this man who's glaring at her with this hateful intensity, and she tries to ignore it, but she feels him approach the seat behind her. So she gets up, makes a run for it, but unfortunately she's gonna continue to be followed. She will be followed into a supermarket where she manages to escape undetected, but this is only the beginning of a harrowing ordeal. She will be watched on the streets and in her home. She isn't safe anywhere. This movie has an average rating of 6.3 on IMDb, and I think that's fair. I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars on Letterboxd, and I do see myself rewatching this one. This is a slow burn with great acting and atmosphere, but I did have a few issues with it. It wasn't perfect. No film is. I hardly ever give 5 stars. But after a while, things became predictable, and the way people behaved didn't make sense to me. I found Francis very annoying and unfair at times, because Julia didn't speak the language, and it wasn't until she did her own research that she discovered some information about the spider. He had this tendency to brush off her concerns, but I also feel like he wasn't worried enough about his wife. If you move to a new country and your partner doesn't speak the language, shouldn't you keep them updated on potential dangers? Wouldn't you be concerned that they're at a disadvantage? He was irresponsible and a bit like too preoccupied with his own world to be attentive to Julia. I think one of the issues this film tried to shed light on is this tendency for people, particularly men, to write certain women off as hysterical. She kept talking to her husband about her experiences, but he would minimize them and tell her she was blowing things out of proportion. Even a cop tried to downplay the gravity of the situation, so even though the behavior was nonsensical to me, the sad reality is that this does happen to certain women far too often. I wish there had been a different ending because, again, things had become a bit predictable and the film couldn't maintain that same level of suspense, but it did keep me tense for most of the film. The man who watches her from the window, he's so brazen and you don't know what to expect because he doesn't seem to have that much to lose. Julia ends up confronting him, but it doesn't do anything to deter him from stalking her, even when she gets the police involved. That's terrifying. Again, this film is heavy on the atmosphere and I do recommend it. I liked it a lot better than some of the new releases that people have been recommending, and just the whole concept and setting were really appealing for me. It was a nice change from what I'm used to. And even though things were revealed earlier than I had hoped or expected, there are these random tidbits that get thrown in strategically. These were things that I forgot about and I didn't pay close attention to, so when they reappeared, I was satisfied and the suspense picked back up, you know? So keep your eyes peeled. Well, we've reached the end of this video. I want to thank you for watching, and if you liked this, please consider giving me a thumbs up, and if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and feel free to. I hope you'll join me in the next one. Bye.